And in less than 24 hours, ECOWAS security chiefs will be meeting here in Accra to draw up a plan of attack. And this is a significant meeting. It's an extraordinary meeting of the ECOWAS security chiefs. This is the chiefs of defense staff of ECOWAS, and they are converging here at Burma Camp, the headquarters of the military here, all of them putting their brains together to try and come up what is the best option to attack Niger and restore constitutional order. That is a tall order, but that is their brief tomorrow. As for the political decision, it appears it's been taken. It's been taken by the presidents of the ECOWAS countries. They've met, they've decided the military option is firmly there. They've activated this standby force, and we are at the brink now of war. And the use of the word war is one that really gets people apprehensive. But, well, don't take my word for it. Take the word of the Junta Alliance. The Junta Alliance, made up of Mali, made up of Niger currently, and then Burkina Faso. It is the Burkina Faso and Mali juntas who came together, issued a joint statement and said, any military action in Niger will be taken as a declaration of war on all three of them. And so this is a very precarious situation. That is why 2 nights consecutively we are having this conversation about what is happening as far as ECOWAS is concerned and the possibility of military deployment in Niger. Our troops, our men, people's children and husbands, etc., will be deployed from here to go into Niger if the decision is made. And now we're beginning to hear from the civic groups, the churches, the civil society organizations. They are speaking up, and their position is united, that they are opposed to any military intervention as far as Ghana is concerned. And so let's get into that conversation tonight. Let's explore this, because it's a major, major decision that any country will have to take, especially at a time of great economic crisis. And we're beginning to see a bit more civic voices emerging. And as I've illustrated this, today we heard, for example, from the Reverend Dr. Godwin Ninoy Odonko, who, of course, represents the Presbyterian Church of Ghana, and he is clear that they are opposed to troops joining the ECOWAS force. He makes a point that the decision could escalate matters there. It will not help, but rather make it worse there. Some people agree with him. But really, what are our options, right? ECOWAS has made the point that if you do not step in now, then you're emboldening others who feel there will be no consequence whatsoever if they take up arms and overthrow a constitutionally elected government. But they also make the point that Parliament should be involved in the decision-making process. And you heard this from the NDC minority yesterday when they joined us for a conversation on this matter, that the parliamentary consideration is key because you have to consult the people's representative. In other words, you're consulting the people to come to that conclusion. If it has to come to a vote, let it come to a vote, and the decision is taken. So the entire country, the weight of the entire country is behind it. That is, if we decide to join ECOWAS. But also, the main point that all of them will make and are making, as far as the civic voices that we're beginning to hear on this matter is concerned, is diplomacy, right? And that is a very important point that almost everybody I've heard who is opposed to military intervention have said we should explore that. We should exhaust that, because they haven't seen an exhaustion of that particular option that should be on the table, and that the ECOWAS leaders seem to have jumped from 0 to 100 very quickly without exploring the diplomatic option. So that is what has been put out today, and we'll get a bit more civic voices on this very important matter, just to understand why there's so much opposition to the matter of a military intervention, considering that what Ghana's interest is on this matter, that we are a sub-regional body, a sub-regional country in West Africa, and if there is a spillover, as we've heard on the show from ECOWAS chief who joined us 2 weeks ago, that the contagion effect is what they're afraid. We, as a country, may be affected as well. We may catch the coup fever. And our president, together with the Nigerian president and others in the sub-region, believe show of force in Niger may deter others. Okay, so the argument from those opposed, particularly as we begin to hear from the civic voices, is that if you go in there, you're going to have a challenge, and the best approach is to talk. Okay, so let's look at what has happened over the period, right? These are the coups that we've seen over the period, right? We've seen Niger right now. We're talking about that. Burkina Faso had come in also. Guinea-Bissau also came in, and there was a military overthrow there of the civilian government. We have Guinea-Bissau, Guinea itself, and then we also have Mali. Okay, so this is a lineup for you of what we've seen in the sub-region. Now, the reason why this is important is to test the theory that those opposed to the military intervention are putting forward. The theory is adopt a diplomatic approach to resolving the political crisis in these countries. Okay, so since Niger is not the first one, in fact, there have been 4 earlier coup d'etats, has that worked? Has the diplomatic option worked? What is the end game, whether it's diplomatic or military? The end game is to restore constitutional rule. The end game is to restore a duly elected government that has been overthrown by the military through the barrel of a gun. So whichever option you explore, you're hoping that it will yield that outcome. So if the push is to use diplomacy, is to talk, has talking solved the problem? Has it delivered that end? The end being restoration of constitutional rule? That's the fundamental question that ECOWAS leaders are asking themselves. And they are coming to the conclusion that talking to Burkina Faso, Guinea-Bissau, Guinea, Mali hasn't worked. It hasn't. And so they have to change strategy and do something different. And that is why this time when Niger did happen, they went straight to an ultimatum, at the expiration of which they activated the standby force. That is the thinking of the ECOWAS chiefs. Okay, so let's assess this a bit more. Let's assess this. Let's start with what we know to be the situation in Mali, for example. When the Malian coup happened, what did ECOWAS do? They did a few things, and some of them align with what they've done in Niger as well, right? Ban trade goods, with the exception of food, fuel, and medicine, of course, because if you take this out, a lot more people are going to suffer. So there was a ban. We've seen a ban in Niger as well. They cut off from the regional financial market, which we've seen again imposed on Niger. What else did they do? We also know that they suspended from the ECOWAS until constitutional rule is restored, right? We've seen that also done in Niger. And then it forced now Mali to begin to default $300 million worth of debt they defaulted on. They can't pay. That will begin to bite because you cannot borrow. So somehow you have to rely on what you have internally. That will put a stranglehold on the economy, right? But then there's a very important point here, that somehow ECOWAS is confident that this 24-month transition that had been agreed will be respected. And let's put it in context. The military junta there, they didn't want 24 months. They wanted 36 months instead. They had proposed that, and ECOWAS rejected it. So there's a 24-month period that has been proposed. And this ends sometime next year, early, the first quarter of next year is when this 24-month is expected to end. The key question is, will the junta there respect that and hold elections so the country can return to constitutional rule? But at least when we did speak to the ECOWAS chief, who was on PM Express last week, he pointed to this as an example of what they've done in terms of talking that hasn't yielded results yet. But they are hoping that it may down the line. But there isn't much faith in there. And Olusegun Obasanjo, who is a former president of Nigeria, over the weekend said something profound here in Ghana. He says he visited one of these countries and he stayed there for 2 days, and instantly he came out with one impression, that the military young men who are taking over the country, they have no appetite to hand over power. And he used the word, they are thinking about a generation. They want to be at the helm for a generation. So that was his view, and he himself is a former military leader. So when he says that, you have to read into that and put a lot of premium on it. So that is the question here, whether they will return to civilian rule. Obasanjo says he's picked up a sentiment, he spent some time with some of these young military men who are taking over power, and they have no appetite to return to civilian rule. They want to stay there for a generation. So that's Mali. So you can say Mali itself, the jury's out on whether talks, diplomacy has worked. Okay, so let's go to the condemned the coup, which is standard. Then they went to the membership, took them out, just like Niger, and then they demanded a return to constitutional rule. They always do so, but mere talks won't solve the problem. They will not just hand power back to a civilian government because ECOWAS asked nicely. That's the ECOWAS point. Now, let's show some aggression. Let's show them some force. Okay, so they agreed to send in this high-level mission to Guinea. They went in. What did they achieve? The junta proposed that they want a 3-year transition timeline. This is their own timeline that they were imposing on ECOWAS. They want a 3-year transition timeline. ECOWAS obviously rejected this, but as far as the junta is concerned, they themselves are giving themselves 3 years. So that tells you that they have their own timeline. And diplomacy possibly, well, the evidence is showing, isn't yielding the right results because they are in charge and they believe they can do what they want. So that clearly is another example of talks not yielding an outcome that ECOWAS will hope for. Okay. And then you go to Burkina Faso, which is right across the border here. They were suspended, just like everybody else. ECOWAS condemned the coup. So the template is there. There were no sanctions imposed just yet, right? Then they agreed to return democratic rule in 24 months. Okay, so then another one that we have to watch. The jury is still out on that. But there isn't enough confidence that this will happen. At least you're beginning to see why ECOWAS is taking this particular step right now. Because the cases of the junta and the military young men who have taken over the country just want to have their way. So they want to change the strategy. But many have also cited what happened in Gambia. But in Gambia, it's a very, very different story. Yahya Jammeh, of course, refused to step down. And then ECOWAS said, okay, we are going to show that we have power. So what it did is to get Senegal, which, by the way, somehow, as you see, the Gambia is right in the middle of that country. So it's easy to surround them. That is the difference there. Tiny little country in a country, right? So easy to surround them. 7,000 troops led by the Senegalese army marched around the country. Yahya Jammeh obviously refused to go, but this pressure yielded some resolve. The troops then ensured that there was a transition, right? And then we saw the swearing in of Barrow. But Barrow was sworn in, and Note was sworn in Senegal. As we speak right now, this is a success story because Yahya Jammeh has fled and currently is in exile in Equatorial Guinea. So they will point to this and say, well, when we use the military option, the threat of force, we actually move troops to the border, showed Yahya Jammeh that we mean business. It yielded a result where now you have Barrow as president, Yahya Jammeh is in Equatorial Guinea. So that is the analysis that is leading to the conclusion, as far as ECOWAS is concerned, that maybe, let's go back to what happened with the Gambia situation and let's show force. Maybe all these meetings that we're talking about, the meeting tomorrow, is just to show to the junta in Niger that ECOWAS mean business. Maybe they really don't have the appetite to go, but you need to still maintain that threat of force as a deterrent, a strategic deterrent to them, to force them to the table, at least to impose a certain timeline as we've seen elsewhere. Then we can talk business. And maybe it's also a reason why they've invited journalists to come and cover the 2 days when the security chiefs are meeting. That is rare. But they want to leave no doubt for the Nigerian junta leaders to know, to watch, to see, to hear that the meetings are happening, the planning is happening, and they mean business. Maybe that's it. But this should tell you a story of why we are where we are tonight. And then if you look at the Guinea-Bissau situation, ECOWAS deployed some 631 troops, mainly from Nigeria and Senegal, in there, and the troop protected public buildings and institutions. So they've done this before. But as you heard Ken Officer Baji say yesterday, it has proven very difficult in the past, and it doesn't believe that it's something that will yield results. Of course, the Niger scenario is ECOWAS has given ultimatum, has failed, diplomatic negotiations is pending, isn't moving as much as they anticipate, military intervention is also pending. So we need to have that conversation. There is civic opposition. But if you look at the story that I just told, what should ECOWAS really do? Should Ghana just say, no, we won't participate, and watch this contagion effect spread and possibly become a problem for us to deal with? Don't you adopt the Gambia approach and go in and force a return to civilian rule? Big questions indeed. We heard from the experts yesterday. Let's hear from the civic groups who are speaking up tonight ahead of tomorrow's very important meeting. Once that plan is drawn, it moves ECOWAS very, very close to the brink of war with the Junta Alliance. My guests will join me after this. And remember that PMS is always brought to you by Cherry Tree Properties. It's also brought to you by Syntex Tanks, Alomo Bitters, and also by the Ghana AIDS Commission. Details after this.
Can he tee up someone in red? And it goes to one!
Five champions league. You want to know? I be the real goat. I'm the real goat. The left magician. Who is the goat? Ghana Jollof or Nigerian Jollof?
Ghana Jollof has no co-equal. The smell alone. Oh my God.
No, that shift. You two they lie. Now the same stew when they use cook the rice and then they go put them for top.
You are lying. Ghana Jollof.
Are you here? Forget everybody. Yeah. My guy. Put your papa in the jar. Put some respect on the goat. On the goat. The only goat I know lives in Tama. Every year we dey give to you back. We are talking about BET. I want some Yaji face. Except be the goat, huh? My guy, him be the goat.
Our choice of goats may differ in football, music, and jollof. Alomo Bitters always brings us together. Alomo, experience greatness in every moment.
Drink responsibly. Not for sale to persons under 18 or recommended to pregnant women. This advert is FDA approved.
My name is Tina. I am a person living with HIV. I got to know my HIV status after I gave birth and lost the child because of HIV. In those days, prevention of mother-to-child transmission services had low patronage due to fear and stigmatization. Today, many HIV-positive women have delivered negative children. I follow the guidelines and take my HIV medicine called ARVs every day, as prescribed by my doctor. This makes me strong and healthy, and also prevent me from passing HIV onto any future child. Please, avail yourself for PMTCT services when pregnant. It is the only way to ensure you do not pass the HIV onto your baby during birth or pregnancy. If you have tested for HIV recently and it was negative, test again when pregnant. If you have tested positive, go to the hospital after birth as directed by your healthcare provider. Your baby will be given medicine immediately and tested to ensure baby and mother are well. Let us work together to have an HIV-free generation.
Our children must be free to shine.
Daddy, this tank is big.
Yes, that's true.
It can store a lot of water.
That's so true.
Wow, it has a working tortoise on it.
That's so true.
I can see SINTEX. Syntex.
That is so true, my daughter.
When it falls down, it will spoil.
That's not true.
But why?
Hey! Syntex was the first to introduce double-layer tanks in Ghana. Syntex again was the first to introduce white inner layers in Ghana. Syntex gives you the biggest warranty, 7 years. No matter your water needs, Syntex is the answer. Syntex tank. Are you strong? Are you tough?
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint. As compared to other paint brands on the market, we take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo Superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, 1 bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
Hello, my name is Abeku Agri Santana. If there's anything that makes my life so easy, it is my bank. I love hanging out with my boys at our usual fufu joint. But even without cash, we still dey chop better with EcoBank Mobile. No matter the time of day, my bank helps me stay in touch with my beautiful wife whenever she's away. And when my beautiful wife is in town, she never misses out on her favorite TV shows because I'm able to pay up all my TV subscriptions from the comfort of my mobile phone. Whenever she has to get groceries too, my bank makes it cashless and convenient. And the part my wife loves the most is when my bank makes it possible and easy for her to shop from any part of the world without moving.
Welcome to the smart world of EcoBank. Download EcoBank Mobile from Google Play Store or the App Store and discover the smart way to bank. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
There are days when you think, whoa, today I've earned it. So order a Glovo. Days when plans run longer. What if we order a Glovo? Or days when you can't control everything. Oh yes, because on Glovo, you can order anything you want. Glovo, you order, we deliver.
We've had news file over the weekend, and an interesting part of the conversation focused.
Oh no, we are out of range.
Oh, don't worry, Daddy. I have Alexa in my bag.
Alex, what?
Alexa, open Multimedia Ghana and play Joy FM.
Super Hits Radio. Joy 99.7.
Listen to Joy FM, Hits FM, Love FM, live on your Amazon Echo. Listen to your favorite multimedia radio stations live on your Amazon Echo device by saying, Alexa, open Multimedia Ghana, play Joy FM or Hits FM or Love FM. Or catch up on your favorite podcast by saying, Alexa, play, and then the name of your favorite podcast from Multimedia Ghana. For a list of all podcasts available, say Alexa. Ask Multimedia Ghana to browse programs.
And we are back like we never lost signal.
Alexa, welcome to Multimedia.
When everybody came out, everybody's looking good, displaying their art, beautiful art everywhere. This is my 5th year coming in a row. So I'm here every August for the festival. It's been amazing being with my black people all day, every day. It's been great.
It's so fun here. There are a lot of art things to do. So I personally love it. And I love the artworks. I love Charlotte 2022.
It's fantastic. This year's experience is marvelous.
It's amazing. It's Charlotte Festival, y'all. You ought to be here.
The paintings, the people, the Ghanaians were awesome.
Everyone, when you're in Ghana around the same time, make sure you check it out. It's really happening.
PM Express is always brought to you by Syntex Tanks. It's also brought to you by Cherry Tree Properties, Lomo Bitters, and the Ghana AIDS Commission. And as you know, Syntex Tank is your preferred tank for storing water, no matter your water needs. Syntex Tank has it all. Syntex Tank has the introducing double-layer tank, and now you can have as many layers as you want. Syntex Tank is first to introduce white inner layer tanks in Ghana. We now introduce you to the customer specs order. We let you order any color and size of preference. Syntex Tank gives you the longest warranty of 7 years. Demand nothing more. For all your water consumption needs, you need Syntex Tank. Call them on 0244 335 168 or shop online at syntexgh.com. Syntex Tanks, air strong, air tough. Cherry Tree Properties desires our wishes. Beauty is a promise of happiness, but passion, well, is everything. Thinking about buying a new home? Talk to those who build with passion. They have Sloane Square. Is a new gated community development at Sakumono, developed by Cherry Tree Properties. A one-of-a-kind, well-planned luxury you've never experienced. Call them on 0553 662 366. Cherry Tree Properties, satisfaction and class. Tonight, let's talk about Niger. We started yesterday, but there's a meeting tomorrow, and we are getting closer and closer to finalizing that plan of attack for the ECOWAS countries to go. But Accra is hosting it, and that is of great significance indeed. But there is civic opposition to this particular plan that ECOWAS has been rolling out since they issued that ultimatum. Let's get into that. I'm delighted to say that we'll be joined right now by Sheikh Arimaya Shaib, who is a spokesperson for the National Chief Imam, and I'll pick his thoughts on that very shortly. Reverend Dr. Cyril Fayose is the General Secretary of the Christian Council of Ghana, and they've been speaking today and making the point forcefully that they don't believe we should go in. Seydou Amadou, by the way, is the president of the Ghanaian community in Niger, and I want to start with him. Seydou, thanks for your time here on PM Express. How is Niger tonight?
Okay. Greetings to your viewers. My name is Seydou Abudu.
Seydou Abudu, yes.
Okay. Okay. Right now, Niger is calm. Niger is calm. Everything is okay. There's no any fear. Everything is normal.
Okay.
As we are speaking, yeah.
I mean, as a Ghanaian living there, do you harbor any fears that something might go very wrong?
No, we have some Ghanaians here. Yeah, we have some Ghanaians, roughly 400 to 500 Ghanaians who are living in Niger. So we are trying as a Ghanaian community here. Our main thing is to protect Ghanaians who are living in Niger. So we are engaging with the mission, the Ghana embassy here. Time to time, we are having meetings with them. So to know how best we can protect Ghanaians. So right now, all Ghanaians are safe, and there's no any fear and panic.
Okay. Earlier, we saw that some of the ECOWAS countries had their installations attacked. Nigeria, for example. Have you had any threats?
Right now, no Ghanaian have any threat. Right now, no Ghanaian, no. We don't have any threat, no.
Before? Do you have any issues before, when this started?
No. Since the coup d'etat, all the foreigners here, we are safe. I didn't hear anything that they are attacking foreigners in this country.
Okay. When you hear that Ghana will likely join Nigeria and other West African countries to come into Niger in an attempt to restore the presidency of Mohamed Bazoum, you live there. Do you agree that Ghana should join ECOWAS to do that?
Hello?
I'm asking, you live in Niger.
We have part of the recipient.
Sorry, Seydou, can you hear me? Hello, Seydou? Okay, let's see if we can fix that, because that is a very important question for a Ghanaian who lives in Niger. He's seen this real, as far as the who is concerned. He's been there. He's seen what happened. I'll get into that pretty shortly to give us a first-hand account of what happened. Hello, Seidu, can you hear me? Hello, Seidu? Okay. Let's we'll try and fix that and get his thoughts on that. I'm curious to hear his verdict as a Ghanaian living in Niger, who's seen it all since this chaos started in that particular country. I want to bring in Sheikh Rimayal Shaibu into the conversation, who, as you can see there, he's joining us. Hello, Sheikh. Thanks for staying with us. I wonder, what is your view on this? I've just stated and explained what is going to happen tomorrow with the security chiefs meeting in Accra. They've issued a statement. The Ghana Armed Forces have issued a statement to tell us that it's an extraordinary meeting of the chiefs of defense staff, and our expectation is that they are drawing up the plan of attack. Where do you stand as far as the Muslim community is concerned, the Chief Imam's office is concerned on this matter? Please unmute for me. Kindly unmute for me. Hello, Sheikh. Okay. Unfortunately, we need to also get him to unmute so we can have a conversation. He doesn't seem to hear. Okay, great. I can hear you. Thank you very much. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. The National Chief Imam's Office has not taken any position on this particular matter, and I think that I need to make that one very clear. So I will speak from the angle of a peace activist, because I serve the Chief Imam, I represent the Chief Imam on the National Peace Council. And so, as a body that works to promote peace, I think that war is not an option on our table. I mean, from the angle of a peace activist. But I can also appreciate the dilemma in which ECOWAS and, if you like, our president here home, finds himself in. In other words, you are torn between a commitment to the protocols of a regional body, to which you are a member, against the interest of your own country. And because it's a regional body and certain protocols, and that there has been precedents where such joint efforts have been made, and I listened to you when you're making reference to the Gambian situation. So it means that a certain precedent has been set, in which case, whenever there is a violation of constitutional order, the regional bloc, goes in to intervene. The worry, though, is that after the Gambian situation, we have seen, the chronicle that you made, about the tract within the Francophone countries that have experienced coup d'etats, and we did not see the firm stance of the ECOWAS to restore constitutional democracy in those countries. So we still have the Guinea-Bissau, now Niger is also there. Now you have the Burkina Faso and Mali. And you can see that, and I like the cliche you used in describing that region, that is the junta alliance. And they are now making a declaration that any attack on Niger is tantamount to attack on that particular alliance. And going in with that force, one must be mindful of the collateral damage, and especially in countries that are stricken by the very vulnerable of society. I mean, they are going to be the ones who will suffer the brunt. And if you take in Niger, we are talking 42.9% of Niger, live within the poverty line. About 83% of them live in the rural areas. 20% of them are unable to even meet their daily needs. So they are those ones who are going to really suffer the serious brunt of this. And given our sensitivity to the situation of such people, then what we will do is call for caution. So from the point of view of peace activists, for me, war and violence is not part of my preference. Rather, exhausting all the avenues available to get the military junta to understand that to soften their positions and to give opportunity for consultations that will lead to the restoration. Because constitutional order or constitutional democracy is the preferred system of government across the world. And so to really truncate that process, then it steps the whole system. And I think that we need to find a way to really engage with the military junta and get their compromise for us to be able to really restore the constitutional order. And that's my initial position.
However, though, if you watch the president, as far as the application of diplomatic intervention is concerned, he hasn't worked, not yet at least, in Burkina Faso. He hasn't worked in Mali. And now you have Niger. There's no guarantee that it will work. If your objective is to return to constitutional rule, it has shown or proven to be ineffective. You certainly cannot be repeating an intervention that has improved to work. You must change tact. You can't keep doing the same thing and hope to get different results. ECOWAS must try something different. Why is a military option not one that should be tried, especially in the case of Niger?
Yeah, if I want to repeat, mindful of the consequence of use of force, except if we say there's a guarantee that the collateral damage that we are all afraid of and the sufferings of the masses, and don't forget that even though we are trying to restore democracy, but the massive support, massive popular support of the citizenry, of Niger is a clear indication of certain state of despondency that is making them see a certain salvation. So the very people you are even going to fight for themselves are in support of this. So if they come out in their numbers and say, for you to be able to get to the military junta, then you have to kill us before you do that. That is the difficulty in which we find ourselves. I thought that ECOWAS should not have been that quick to put in that military option and to also give an ultimatum, knowing that we are dealing with people who are military people who will not give up when they are challenged, because that's the mindset. For all the military people, that's the mindset. They don't give up. They don't want to be seen as a failure, as cowards. So to quickly threaten them, for example, then you set them on edge and you test them. So now the military junta is feeling tested, and they want to prove themselves able to the
But Sheikh, you said earlier you said you were a peace activist, but yes. If you want peace, as it has been said, then you must be prepared for war, because in this particular case, the estimation of ECOWAS, if they don't go in now, Ghana could be next. In fact, the question they asked is, who is next? You don't want that next to happen, so stop it now once and for all. Isn't that why this is necessary? If you really want peace, then you must prepare for war.
That particular idiomatic expression or kind of viewpoint for me does not apply in all circumstances. It does not apply in all circumstances. And I think that to say you want to use this one to apply to any situation where we find ourselves in some of these coup d'etats, and so you want to apply the force. Yes, you can apply the force where it works, like in the Gambia. I mean, Gambia is, let me say, it was a very easy move to enter. Like you mentioned it. It's a very tiny. It's like the tongue in our mouth. If you put it in Senegal. So Senegal overwhelms, even Senegal alone could have entered there to do that. So it was uneasy. But this one is a different situation because there are other countries close to Niger that have also done the same thing, and they have not been punished for what they have done. And now they feel emboldened. There's a certain emboldenment or a certain incapacitation that they have received from the lack of action from ECOWAS. So to say that you want to now go in with this approach means that you have to bundle these three countries together and go to war with them. And our worry is who is going to suffer. That's our worry. But as to the efforts to restore constitutional democracy is something that I approve of 100%. But the mode of the intervention is
should
where
be dialogue. Should be dialogue.
Where we have an issue now.
Okay,
Yes.
Stay with me. Let me bring back Seydou. Seydou, who joins us, Abudu, is a Ghanaian who lives there. Is a president, actually, of the Ghanaian community in Niger, and joins us again. We lost him on Zoom, but he's joining us on phone right now. Seydou, can you hear me? Hello, Seydou, can you hear me?
Hello?
Yeah, Seydou, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Fantastic. I was asking you earlier that ECOWAS has declared that they have a plan to use a military option to restore constitutional rule. You're a Ghanaian, and Ghana obviously is supporting the rest of ECOWAS to do this. You're a Ghanaian, you live in Niger. Do you support such a military intervention in Niger?
Okay, thank you very much. I think when we heard that ECOWAS, they are going to use force, I did not believe, and I don't believe that ECOWAS can use force, because right now that we are speaking, all the ECOWAS countries, we have some foreigners here. Nigeria is having roughly 1 million population here. Benin, Togo, Ghana. So right now that they are going to use force, what about their citizens who are living in Niger? It's going to be a problem. So right now, I don't believe ECOWAS can use force at this time.
So, do I hear you say, as far as you're Ghanaian, you live in Niger, use of force by any West African country, including your own Ghana, our Ghana, will be a wrong move? It's not something that you support because it may expose you.
It's not going to help at all. It's not going to help because it's going to affect all the foreigners who are living in this country.
When you say it's going to affect the foreigners, how do you mean? What exactly do you mean?
Now, let's take it for example. We foreigners who are living here, already we have one video that they said that if ECOWAS makes any move, they are going to attack foreigners. And that one is for sure. So they have to be very careful the move that they want to make because they are going to attack foreigners in this country.
And so this is a video that has been made by some Nigerians themselves warning ECOWAS that if you attack this country, if you send in military force, we'll be targeting your citizens who live in Niger.
Sure.
I see.
What they have to believe, because they are not going to allow the foreigners to live in this country as ECOWAS are going to use force. So they have to be very, very careful.
From what you just said, is it true that this coup that happened in Niger is widely supported by citizens in Niger? You live there. Is this true that mostly Nigerians support the coup?
Really, I don't want to comment on the political side, but one thing that I would say is, if I take example like electricity, the power that we are using, at first that the country we have 24-hour electricity in this country, people are crying. Now that the power went off, all the time people are jubilating. So you see that there is a difference.
So you're saying that now in Niger right now, although you don't have electricity, people are still jubilating?
We are jubilating. That's why I say I don't want to comment on the political side because I'm already inside.
And there were concerns and complaints and protests even at the time when they were having 24-hour electricity.
Yeah, there is a concern. There's a concern because I'm not allowed to talk on media and say so many things. So I think as a Ghanaian community president, as I've already said, our concern with the Ghana embassy here, we are trying all our best to take care of Ghanaians and protect the Ghanaians who are living in this country. I think that is our main job. And right now, as I've already said, all the Ghanaians are safe. And we want to assure our family members who are in Ghana that they shouldn't fear because all Ghanaians who are living in there are safe.
And let me ask you, do you have any plans of leaving Niger with what is happening there now and what ECOWAS might want to do?
Right now, we don't have any plans for evacuation. Right now, we are having some engagement meeting with the embassy here, the mission. Right now, where we are pitched right now, we don't have any plans for evacuation.
Okay. Stay with me, please, Seydou. And Seydou touches on a very important point that Sheikh also touched on, that even when they had 24-hour power, people were protesting. Now that they don't have electricity, because ECOWAS had cut power to them, the ECOWAS countries around them, Nigeria, etc., have cut power to them, people are jubilating. What an irony indeed. And Sheikh, you obviously are opposed to the use of force there. The people are jubilating in spite of the military takeover. ECOWAS insists they want to go in. You have a lot of influence in terms, and I've heard today the Christian Council, and we're supposed to talk to the Reverend Fayose, but he hasn't joined us yet. Hopefully when he does have solved the challenges with the connection, he will join us. But he's confident that beyond the public advocacy that I've heard you do, and he has also been doing today, you would have to engage directly with our authorities here, i.e. the President, possibly Parliament, the Defense Minister. You think that is necessary?
Well, I mean, since we are a democratic country and everything that we do in this country must fall within the framework of our constitution, especially one that has certain consequences that can affect the larger tract of the citizenry. I mean, for example, whether or not we like it, economically we are connected. Our supply of onions alone into this country, we are not self-sufficient in the production of even the food that we need in this country. So the closure, for example, of the borders, for example, I mean, it spells a certain economic difficulty to many people whose livelihood depends on sale of onions. I mean, for example. So it is not even the issue of Nigerians alone suffering the difficulty, but even as Ghanaians. And because it has this dire consequence on our people, then probably a certain wider consultation is going to be done, for example, at our parliament, see whether we can all be on one page as to what should be the best option for us to really help the Nigerians to overcome their constitutional or democratic difficulties. I mean, so we can do that. So if it requires that we meet the government, why not? Like I said, from the angle of a peace activist who is serving on the National Peace Council, if the Peace Council is called upon to present an opinion, and I'm sure my chairman will be there to also, and I'm sure from my chairman, I can vouch for my chairman that he is not in support of violence or war as a means of restoring peace. I can speak for him on this particular note. So if as religious people we have to really join hands and engage the government to consider all other options which I know they have on their table, and I'm sure that we have not exhausted all of them. So we push for those. If we are unable to really get them to accept the options, rather than going for war, I will recommend strongly that we must really negotiate for the release of the president who is under captivity, so that we are sure that his life is safe and his human rights are also protected. Either get him out of the country to ensure that he is safe, and then let's go, by a certain timetable and still mount the pressure, the diplomatic pressure on them. And it should not be limited to Niger alone, but let's also bring in Burkina Faso, Mali, Guinea-Bissau, and say, look, the very ECOWAS bloc is now under threat. It's now getting divided, balkanized between, if you like, the Anglophone and then the Francophone. Of course, we have some of the Francophone that are still with ECOWAS. But that ECOWAS will lose its strength because ECOWAS will be divided. Now, there's one other point that I think we need to. The fact that we see this massive outpour of young people in support of the coup means that there's a disconnect. The disconnect between what ECOWAS seeks to do for the citizens of ECOWAS within the sub-region and ECOWAS itself. There's a certain disconnect. It means that the larger tract of the citizenry do not even understand, do not even appreciate, or they are not even conscious of a certain body we call ECOWAS. And I think this one is really, really a big gap that ECOWAS need to work on. Why is it that ECOWAS is coming to defend the people of Niger, and the people of Niger are saying, no, we support the coup? It means that there's a complete gap, a disconnect between the Nigerian citizenry and what the ECOWAS seeks to achieve. And I think that needs to be really addressed if future intervention of ECOWAS will make any meaning.
And that leads to the question of adopting a preventive approach rather than a reactionary one anytime we've had the coup d'etats. I want to take a quick break. When I return, we'll get into, so we've seen the Muslim community, we've seen the Christian community all say we are opposed to this. Okay, so if we have to send in negotiators in, as you know, that we know that the Muslim clerics have been allowed in, will the religious leaders agree to go in as an option to negotiate? A quick break, we'll return.
Daddy, this tank is big.
Yes, that's true.
It can store a lot of water.
That's so true.
Wow, it has a working tortoise on it.
That's so true.
I can see S-I-N-T-E-X. Syntax.
That is so true, my daughter.
When it falls down, it will spoil.
That's not true.
But why?
Hey! Syntex was the first to introduce double-layer tanks in Ghana. Syntex again was the first to introduce white inner layers in Ghana. Syntex gives you the biggest warranty, 7 years. No matter your water needs, Syntex is the answer. Syntex tank. Are you strong? Are you tough?
Crazy pa. Don't say no to me. Risky. Wash. All of a sudden, my voice I hear different. And when you saw a call. Barman, bring me the honey whiskey. You know the one? Black Rock whiskey. Honey whiskey. Chalet, honey near their fro. Black Rock whiskey is strong. Now so taste me is smooth and it goes down easy. Excuse me. Barman, bring my friend one Black Rock whiskey.
Black Rock whiskey, blended with natural honey flavor.
Hey, what's up?
Barman.
Hey, what the hell for Sikanton Sada? The pure Bintomana no.
Oh,
Black Rock Whiskey can be a feeling smooth, no. Drink responsibly. Not for sale to persons under 18 years of age and not recommended for pregnant women. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Score HD, the new exciting football channel, is now available only on HD Plus and brings you football from around the world. Watch Sadio Mane and Daniel Kufitre in the top weekly match of the Bundesliga 1 and DFB Cup, Primera Liga, Copa de la Liga Profesional, see Ronaldo in the Saudi Pro League, as well as daily sports news every other hour. Also, get updated on Messi and Mbappe on PSG TV and many more. Feely on HD Plus channel 151. Agrono Ede, HD Plus, the Feely experience.
When everybody came out, everybody's looking good, displaying their art, beautiful art everywhere. This is my 5th year coming in a row. So I'm here every August for the festival. It's been amazing being with my black people all day, every day. It's been great.
It's so fun here. There are a lot of art things to do. So I personally love it. And I love the artworks. I love Charlotte 2022.
It's fantastic. This year's experience is marvelous.
It's amazing. It's Charlotte Festival, y'all. You ought to be here.
The paintings, the people, the Ghanaians were awesome.
Everyone, when you're in Ghana around the same time, make sure you check it out. It's really happening.
Sheikh Remia is with me, and Seydou is a Ghanaian who lives in Niger. Is also with me tonight as we look at the civic opposition. And I just have a few seconds to wrap up. Sheikh, so tell me, you are opposed to war, any military deployment, but you want peace. ECOWAS has struggled to get the talks going. Do you think the religious community can assist? And is the Ghanaian religious community ready to help, if indeed you're called upon? We've seen that when the clerics went in, they received them very well. Very briefly, is this something that the government should explore or ECOWAS should explore?
Yeah, I think that, this is one of the domains where religion can play a very critical role. And even those that are the military junta, they could be Muslims or Christians. And so, religion could be explored as a means to appeal to their conscience. One, to appeal for them with understanding of the very factors that has given rise to this kind of circumstance. Empathize and sympathize with the situation. To show some understanding about why the situation has deteriorated to this level. Yeah. And I think it's something that we must explore.
Yeah, and indeed that was explored to some degree. And that at least worked. And so we'll see if that is something that will be explored. Tomorrow we'll watch what the ECOWAS Security Chiefs say. Thank you very much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of the evening.